Occasionally, the most difficult thing in life is realizing that's the only thing. Standing in between where you are. Specify your desired location is the choice to take charge. It's not a stroke of luck. The timing is off. Furthermore, it's not even talent. It's you at this moment. Determining that you are deserving of aiming higher. Waiting for the world is not the point here. To give you the ideal time. The Stoics also held this belief. We learned from Epictetus something is beyond our control outside occurrences, but we have power. How we react, as well as today we're going to discuss among the strongest replies that you are able to, making a decision right now to pretend to be the greatest, because, let's face it, everyone has doubts. That little voice inside your mind informing you you're not yet prepared. Perhaps you're inadequate. What if I told you, though, that there's no need for you to wait until you're ready? In actuality, you become the greatest, not by waiting for the appropriate circumstances, just by appearing with the attitude that you already possess, what is required. Stoics such as Marcus Aurelius would remind themselves every day to concentrate on their sphere of influence and to behave morally regardless of the situation. The key is to embrace the power you currently have, even if it seems like the future is unknown. Thus, in the video for today, we're exploring the mentality. It has the potential to drastically alter how you go about achieving your objectives, your difficulties, and your daily existence. This has nothing to do with acting. To pretend to be someone you're not. Stepping is the key into your greatest potential. Keep checking back. Since we intend to investigate how pretending to be the greatest is more than a change in perspective. However, the secret to unlocking all that you have been aiming for, therefore, if you're grateful. What we're doing in this place, I have a small favor to ask of you, is to press the subscribe button. It truly helps and is free. Help the channel. Let's begin. The influence of making the best choice. The instant you make a decision to reach your greatest potential is the time your life begins to shift. Waiting is not the solution for the ideal chance or anticipating outside conditions to enhance. It's about creating an internal choice, a choice to appear each day as your greatest self. This concept to get better and behave morally, we want people to think like this. Pretending to be the greatest is not about acting fake. To be fully informed or never making errors, it's about being present, with the conviction that you are entirely competent to manage anything that comes your way. Your actions are shaped by this notion. When you think you are the greatest, you behave as though you exude confidence in yourself. And people take note to remind us, the Stoics, that this self-assurance comes from within. It's inside. It results from being aware of that your lifestyle is in harmony with your principles and trying your hardest in every circumstance. The main distinction here, does arrogance aim to put you above other people? But pretending to be the greatest is about uplifting oneself. To the best of your own abilities, it's about aiming for greatness. While remaining grounded and modest as the Stoics instructed, you're not trying to be flawless, but for advancement, constantly improving oneself, always learning and always progressing. What if I'm not the best? Some of you may be wondering, I'm not the best though. I'm not even close. How can I pretend to be? And that makes perfect sense. It's normal to feel like if you're not the best. But here's the thing, it's not necessary to be the best, to pretend to be the greatest. The beauty of this way of thinking is that it functions even if you're not the best. Pretending to be the greatest does not imply acting or having hallucinations. It's about changing your perspective. To realize your greatest potential, and that begins with your self-perception. This is exactly in line with Stoicism. The Stoics hold that we are in charge of our thoughts and the way we react to the difficulties of life. Hence, even if you're not at your best at the moment, you still have a choice. To project confidence in yourself, discipline and goal characteristics, that the best examples, when you pretend to be the greatest, something significant begins to occur. You start to think it's true. And when you think it's true, you begin to transform into it. This isn't a miracle, thinking, or a lack of confidence. It is an established psychological change. It influences what you do. The lessons of the Stoics that our actions are influenced by our thoughts, and when we take action as though we are skilled and capable, we grow increasingly. This prophecy is self-fulfilling. The Stoics were fully aware of this idea. Consider an interview. It entails accepting accountability for your own growth in all facets of life. For instance, in your relationships, it involves questioning yourself. What would I do if I were my best self? What would the ideal companion do? The best friend? Alternatively, how does the best parent act? Pretending is not the point. To be flawless, although roughly consistently attempting to get better and appear as your greatest self in your well-being, it entails taking action. Like you're in top physical condition of your existence, how would you take care of your body? If you thought you could accomplish maximum well-being, which options? What dietary changes would you make? Habits and physical activity. The road of Stoicism is one of self-control, and making deliberate decisions that promote long-term health practice creates reality. When you hear the word act, like you're the greatest, at first it could feel like pretending, and perhaps it is in a way. But here's the reality: what you regularly, your practice becomes your reality. The Stoics were well aware of this. Seneca is famous for saying, "We become what we do over and over again. Therefore, perfection is not a deed, but a routine." Consequently, the more you work on something, whether it's assurance, self-control, or fortitude, the more it integrates of your identity. Let's dissect this. When you begin to act like you're the greatest, it could seem strange. You may believe, to carry myself, who am I? With such assurance. However, the splendor of human nature is our extraordinary capacity for adaptation. The Stoics hold that shapes us by our ideas and deeds. If you continuously act with assurance, you begin to feel more assured. If you practice self-controlled decisions you make in life over time, you develop greater self-discipline. Faking it for eternity is not the goal. It involves practice. The traits you wish to exhibit till they come naturally to them. Consider it similar to developing muscle. Lifting weights feels difficult at first, even uneasy. However, as you continue to practice, your strength increases. Pretending to be the greatest, similarly, every time you practice it, you support that way of thinking. And ultimately it stops being an act and more of a routine. The Stoics were aware of this procedure. Epictetus frequently reminded his pupils of that we are in charge of over our reactions to the outside world. By engaging in moral behavior, we align our inner selves with the type of individual our goal is to become. Suppose you wish to become increased self-assurance in social settings. You may initially feel uncomfortable, as if you were performing. However, the more you practice standing erect, speaking intelligibly and interacting with other people, the more you start to experience they are perfect. They are the ones who are aware of their flaws, superior to everyone else. However, they don't allow their flaws define them. Rather, they make use of them as inspiration to keep getting better. The Stoics held that in accepting difficulties and uneasiness as a natural aspect of existence, we were reminded by Epictetus that the route to mastery demands us to overcome challenges. With fortitude, when we are fully aware of our shortcomings, we can go up to them. Having a forward-thinking attitude, consider it this way: ignoring your shortcomings. In actuality, they don't disappear. They usually get larger and eventually more disruptive. However, if you recognize them and make improvements, you get more powerful. Weakness was not viewed as failure by the Stoics. They viewed it as a chance. To carry out a ritual, it refers to aiming for greatness. When you acknowledge your shortcomings, you're allowing yourself the opportunity to improve more orderly and more competent. This procedure calls for humility. Pretending to be the greatest does not imply that you believe you are flawless. It indicates your commitment to ongoing expansion. You can have faith in yourself, in your areas of strength, while being completely conscious of your areas for improvement. The Seneca Stoics in particular frequently discussed the significance of gaining knowledge from each encounter, even mistakes. Indeed, Seneca thought that setbacks and failures are frequently our best instructors. They show us where we need to develop and encourage us to hone the abilities or mentality we might not have. Recognizing your vulnerabilities is crucial, not as something to feel guilty about, but as an inherent component of your growth. By being honest with them and a drive to get better, you are in charge of your own development. This is the source of real strength, in the capacity to face what is preventing you from moving forward and trying to get past it. The Stoic method is to consider life's obstacles, including your own inadequacies, as motivation to improve more robust individual. When you pretend to be the greatest, you're not trying to be flawless. Instead, you're displaying that you're strong. To acknowledge your shortcomings, take something away from them, and develop into the individual you want to be. This way of thinking will help you move forward, similar to how it worked with the Stoics, who accepted their imperfections, discovered from them, and carried on with their journey. In pursuit of perfection, encourage people around you. When you pretend to be the greatest, it goes beyond simply being better. Your personal life, the goal is to raise the standard for everyone in your vicinity. The Stoics held that regarding the idea of sympathia, being aware that each failure is a chance to develop and learn. The Stoics held that one should concentrate on what you are in charge of. The results are not always under your control, but you have power. How you handle failure, rather than observing failure as a personal setback, consider it feedback, teaching us what didn't work and how you can get better. Students were reminded by Epictetus that failure is a natural part of life and should be accepted, and apply it to develop our moral fiber. Failure is not an excuse for giving up, but a motivation to continue with greater expertise and understanding. When you encounter failure, having a Stoic attitude, you no longer consider it something to stay away from. Rather than, you welcome it as an opportunity to exercise tenacity and flexibility. The finest individuals in any field, whether in philosophy or business, sports, those who never fail aren't. However, those who are able to recover stronger every time. As taught by the Stoics, our real power originates from how we get back up after falling, so that the next time you don't succeed, keep in mind that the story doesn't finish there. It's an important step on your path to success. Pretending to be the greatest is a continuous process. This is a daily routine. The Stoics held that in the significance of constant intentional action. In his contemplations, Marcus Aurelius, he pushed himself to come closer, daily, with intention and purpose. When you wake up in the morning, he wrote, consider what a valuable privilege it is. It is to live, to take a breath and think, to relish and adore. This habit of being present each day with a dedication to quality is how you get closer to transforming into your greatest self. The beauty of this way of thinking is